You're listening to The Implanted Word with Pastor Bill Gem of Grace Church in Amarillo, Texas.
The Implanted Word, your word in me.
There's some people come in, pig out on church. It's free. And Paul just lays the groundwork here. He says, you know what? Get a job. Help. Work. Be a part of it. Do something. If you don't want to work, then you don't get to eat. Is that being mean? Or is that being biblical? What if the best meal you can have is the meal that you've worked for?
The church serves many different functions. It's a great place to find fellowship with others and has become a community where people can enjoy food together. In today's message, Pastor Bill talks about how we can use our gifts and talents to serve and feed others. Service always involves work. As the scripture says, he who won't work won't eat. And this holds true even in the church. By getting involved in the lives of others, we feed them God's love, which is the most satisfying meal they'll ever have. Now, here's Pastor Bill in the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 as he continues his message, Kingdom Worthy, Community Commandments.
I turn from my ways into your love. Humble myself and accept your word. Your word planted in me is able to save my soul. Your word in me, the implanted word. Your word in me, the implanted word.
There's people that need to come to our church so they go to heaven. And they're going to walk in here and they're going to have all the freebies from the world. They're going to come because we offer freebies at church. We don't charge people to come to church. And we offer Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's all true. That's all true. But I'm telling you, the goal is that we become trackers so that we can help widows indeed. Not just any widow. By the way, we're not out to help just any widow. I lost my husband. How old are you? 18. Well, you are a widow. I'm sorry about your husband. A widow indeed. The Bible tells us exactly who that is. Orphans. We're out to help orphans. Are you kidding me? And then people who need our help. People who need our help. But slackers can drain that away and attract more slackers. That's why commandment number 2 for the trackers, commandment number 2 is stay away from the ones who are disorderly slackers. Now, we already read it. We'll see it next week. We're going to treat them as a brother. We're not going to, hang them upside down or any of that kind of stuff. No, we want them to come back and be a tracker. Plus, they're missing the best part. The best part is the satisfaction you get from a good day's work, a good day's ministry, a good job in church, a good job on the job, and when you get to eat. See, God knows the way He designed the book. God knows the way He designed you. God knows what's really best for you. And the best way is feed thyself. Do a hard day's work, enjoy a good meal. God knows that's the best way. It's not the best way to try to find the freebies everywhere. That's not the best way for you, for the slackers. So to the slackers, commandment number 3. First one's to everybody, be a tracker. Second one's to trackers, stay away from the slackers. The third one is to slackers, and I'll just pretend there's no slackers here today. But in case the slacker slipped in, okay? Third commandment for all of us to tune ourselves up are for the slackers. Basically, it's start working and stay working. Start working and stay working. Verse 10. For even when we were with you, we commanded. Can I hear you say commanded? We commanded you this, if anyone will not work, if he will not work, neither shall he eat. By the way, it doesn't say if he cannot work, that's a different category. This is somebody that just doesn't want to work. If he will not work, neither shall he eat. For we actually hear there are some of you who walk amongst you in a disorderly manner. That's their lifestyle. That's who they are. They walk amongst you in a disorderly manner, not working at all, but are busybodies. Now, those who are such, we command, there's the word again, and exhort you through our Lord Jesus Christ, official for the second time, Jesus Christ, that they work in quietness and eat their own bread. Yeah, but it's free over there. No, if they don't work, they shouldn't eat. That doesn't mean starve to death. I mean, if somebody's starving to death, well, get a job. But, like there's people, and we know at the Church of Corinth, they abused the Lord's table. They'd come in and pig out on the Lord's table. Give me a break. Why'd they do that? Because it's free. There's some people come in and pig out on church. It's free. And Paul just lays the groundwork here. He says, you know what? Get a job. Help. Work. Be a part of it. Do something. If you don't want to work, then you don't get to eat. Is that being mean, or is that being biblical? What if the best meal you can have is the meal that you've worked for? Do you ever think of it like that? I'll tell you this. It's like, I'm so glad you guys come. I really, really am, that you let me feed you this sermon, this bread. I'll tell you who gets the best benefit out of the sermon? Me. Because I worked for it. And I freely give it to you. I freely do that. But here's what I'm saying. The best bread you can get, the best bread, is the bread you work for. When you use your gift, when you're involved with the work, when you're here trying to make a difference with people that we don't even know yet, can I tell you, it'll be your best meal. The ones that work today enjoyed the sermon the best right now. You know why? They earned it. Are you tracking with me? You think Nick's just saying, come on, that's right. I preached this message Wednesday at the retirement home. Bunch of widows. So I breezed through it, 1, 2, 3 points. They're all sitting there kind of in shock. Don't have the points down, but basically, and amen for the widows in the nursing home and all that stuff. That's all cool. That's good. That's not who God's talking about, is it? I come back Wednesday. I come back to men's luncheon Wednesday here in our building. We have a men's lunch on Wednesdays. And so, 30 of us gather up there for men's lunch. So we're up there, and about the same 30 showed up, and we all throw $5 in the pot, and Cheryl makes us spaghetti and meatballs, and we all have a great time. You're invited to men's lunch on Wednesday. Just come. Well, we're there about to finish. I just preached this message, and this dude walks in. I didn't recognize him. Randy, are you here? Is Randy here? Because Randy came in after we had our lunch. Randy came up the stairs. Randy had a new pair of Levi's on. Randy came over and got a ton of spaghetti, was so thankful for it, and he got the paper plate things to take some home and some extra dessert. And I'm just sitting there watching. Randy knew about Thanksgiving, and his church gave him clothes. He's so grateful for this church. So wonderful, because he had Thanksgiving here, and he got a bunch of free stuff here, and he came back for Wednesday free. And hear me, that's fine. But Randy, can I ask you some questions? I had the plate out talking to Randy. Let me take some notes here. Hey, Randy, why are you here? Because he's not in our church. Well, I had Thanksgiving Thursday and thought maybe food, and so I came by, and sure enough, food. Well, that's cool. Hey, Randy, do you have a job? Oh, no, I can't work. I'm disabled. Okay. See, and I told him, I just preached it. I preached a sermon. I need to interview somebody who's disabled. Hey, Randy, how old are you? 58. Oh, I'm 57. Hey, good to meet you, Randy. What's your disability, if you don't mind? Bad ankles. I got bad ankles. Okay. Oh, by the way, I woke up this morning with disabilities. Okay. Not enough to get the thing on the license plate. And so there are people who really are disabled. Please hear me. People like Pastor Bob right now, he has to sit there, bless his heart. This sermon's not about those guys. This is about guys. Hey, Randy, you got bad ankles. When did you get disabled? when I was 43. Wow, that was a while ago. So for 15 years. Hey, Randy, why don't you get a job? Oh, I can't get a job. Why not? I'll lose my disability. Oh, okay. So Randy, how much do you get in disability from the government? $698 a month. Okay. And I wrote that down. Okay. I said, Randy, where do you live? Well, I live in a hotel. Okay. What does that cost a month? $480. And then he volunteered. He said, yeah, but I get $100 in food stamps. Okay. And then I didn't ask him. Randy told me. He says, but I'm a smoker. Okay. Well, that uses up the food stamp money for sure. And I said, Randy, there's not. He said, well, yeah, that's why I have to go around and find the free food. Now, you're disabled. Why? I got a bad ankle. Randy, have you ever thought about getting a job? Remember, I had just preached this message. Only one time in my life did a guy show up on the same day I preached the message. I'm thinking, God wants me to interview Randy, get some good illustration. So I said, hey, did you ever think about getting a job? He said, I can't get a job. I'll lose my disability, plus my ankle hurts. I said, how about a sit-down job? He said, no, I'll lose my disability. I said, Randy, you're only getting $700 a month. How long do you want to live? He said, till I'm 80. I want to live to be 80. Me too. But you want to live like this for the rest of your life on a disability check that has you sleeping in a hotel, eating leftover spaghetti from men's lunch? Hey, Randy, that's bondage. That's not freedom. And even if all you did was earn $700 in a job, you know what would happen with the $700? Instead of the government, you earned it. You would have a satisfaction inside. You were made to work. And what you think is free, but maybe it's more bondage than it is freedom. And it's something that you get just enough to where you're afraid to leave it, and then you're caught. Now, please hear me. There are some people, they cannot work. I'm not talking about the ones who cannot work. I'm talking about the ones who will not work. They use their addiction, they use their past, they use their health, they use their disability as an excuse not to. And inside the church, there's people that use all kinds of excuses. Why they won't get involved, why they won't help pull the weight, why they won't contribute. And they don't get the same satisfaction from the ones who work. That's why you really need to know it's God's goal. It's His comfort to us. Go back to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes in the Red Bible, you got to see this. If you have a regular Bible, just open it up to the middle. Ecclesiastes is about in the middle. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. It's not that God's trying to be mean to people who will not work. They end up in bondage. God's trying to show people through us to be on track with the Lord. You don't have to be a slacker. You can be on track. And actually, you can have the best enjoyment in this life. Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. Let me sum up the book for you, the entire book. We preach this book verse by verse. You can probably get a copy of it on the internet somewhere. I mean, all of this book we preach. Basically, the book says, vanity, vanity, all is vanity. It's hopeless. It's a chasing after the wind. We need the Lord in your marriage and your kids and your job and all that stuff. We just need the Lord. So Solomon's so honest, just vanity, vanity, it's a chasing after the wind. But through the book of Ecclesiastes, he gives us one subject that actually makes sense, something good that we can hold on to through a pretty much hopeless life. Notice what he says, verse 12. I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. Nobody likes to work. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to labor. But you know what? When you enter into your work and your labor, your gifting, and you find out that at the end of a long day of work, you get to sit down and you have a meal, but you earned it. You get to pay the bill, but you earned it. You get to watch it grow, but you helped it. I mean, there's this thing called satisfaction, this thing from God. That's what you were made to do. And if all you do is try to find the free stuff everywhere, well, you might have enough to survive, but you don't have satisfaction. Satisfaction, you ladies know it, when you make your own dress and then you put it on and the husband go, man, you get that, yeah, I made it. Or when you put the cake together and, put it all and then you decorate it. Yeah, I made that. Men, we get that. We get that when we earn it. We do what we were made to do. And it's hard. I mean, work is hard. I used to pour concrete, build houses, and sell cars. And then I started pastoring. Let me tell you, pastoring is really hard. Really hard. Do you know, I read this just a month ago. An average pastor preaching an average sermon is equivalent to 8 hours of hard labor. And I just did that 3 times. I just put in a 24-hour shift. That's why when I get home and I'm trying to, but my body is about to keel over. I love worship. You see me back there in worship. I got to sit down. Do you know why? Because I'm 20. I'm about to finish. I'm not complaining. I love my work. And I only have to work 1 day a week. Wrong. Wrong. I went back and added up. I actually on the clock put in about 50 hours on an average week. If there's a wedding or a funeral, then that starts getting towards 60. That's my work. I expect that. That's fine. I love it. But nobody enjoys the bread, the food, more than I do because I worked for it. And you that are working with me, you come in here and you enjoy it, gets you through a week. And then we go back to our jobs, even if they're dead-end jobs. At least at the end of that job, you get a paycheck and then you get a burrito. And you think, this is really good. And the Bible, from the beginning to the end, says that's about as good as it gets in life. Serve God, enjoy the table, and have a good meal with friends, with your family. Go find some people who don't have a clue what I'm talking about and invite them in. Slackers won't do that. Trackers understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's about your job tomorrow, but it's about the job you have to do today for God. And we need His table, and we all have a life that sometimes we're upside down, and we need one another. But when you're right side up, be a tracker, get involved. And if there's a slacker around you, you might have to back away from them, avoid them, obey the command, so that they'll want to catch up with you. That all of a sudden we don't end up with a lazy church, but a church that's on fire for God. Watch this, satisfied with the very best meal that we cooked ourselves. Tuesday, came into church. It was a normal Tuesday. People, prayer requests, confusion, the devil, Jesus. 9 hours. Tuesday was a 9-hour day, which is a normal Tuesday. I love it. I started working on sermons before I left the house, got here, got things going. Finally, it's 5:15, 5:30. Okay, I'm going to make my way home. About 9 hours in, okay, that's a good day. Get home. Cindy's got Bible study Tuesday night, so Tuesday's kind of like just me by myself. But got this other deal, get home Tuesday, and my plumbing's backed up. You might say, well, call a plumber. No, I'd already done that, and it's still backed up. So, Mr. Fix-It Bill, I'm going to fix it. Put in my 9 hours, time to get to work. Pull out the hoses, got the hoses going from the kitchen out to the garage. Then got the hose going up through the vent pipe and pouring down the stuff, plug it up, turn on the water, all the stuff. And so I got her clear, you know what I mean? So that was after the 9 hours, and then I come in, it took about an hour and a half. Cindy's at Bible study. Smart enough, guys. Just, it took me a while. Pick up your hoses, clean up your own mess, And so many times I'd leave that. Anyway, so I put all the hoses back, wrap it all up and all that. So now all of a sudden, finally, it's like 7 o'clock. Cindy's at Bible study. And by the way, I'm getting hungry. Put in my time. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. I still need to work out because I try to find 5-6 days a week, an hour. I got to work out. This does not come naturally. I got to work out. So I think, oh, man, I don't want to do this. And so, but I will. But this is what I'm getting. So I'm already hungry. And I thought, okay, open up a can of black beans, 2 cans of black beans, and then a can of ranch beans, a can of Rotel, and took some leftover pork from Thanksgiving, smoked on the grill, and I threw that in there, and then some hamburger, threw that in there, put the lid on the pot, and just let her go. So I went out in the other room, well, that's on the stove, and I did all my, here we go, stuff, so that I can look like this. So that's an hour. But see, what I know is that, okay, the 9 plus the 1.5 plus the 1, I'm headed for a good meal. Cindy's here, okay, I'm home by myself. And so I'm there, and an hour later, I'm all sweating to the oldie kind of things, and I come in, and I get me a bowl, basically, of leftover beans and pork and hamburger with some hot sauce and a tortilla. Whoa! I am happy. Do you know why? Because I worked for it, and I was hungry. I was so happy and hungry and satisfied. Plumbing's all working. I think my plumbing's all working. Church is working when I left. I'm going to have bowl number 2. I deserve a second bowl. So I did. I went back. I got a second bowl. Not being a glutton, I was hungry. And I sat down, beans and pork and hamburger. It was good. I finished the second bowl, and then I remembered. I have leftover sushi in the refrigerator. Oh, yes. And I earned it. So I went back in and I pulled out the sushi from 2 days before. Maybe it was the day before. And anyways, there was, and with the ginger and the horseradish stuff and all that. And I'm putting that down. Now here's what I'm saying. I was so happy and satisfied. And you're sitting there going like, what did you eat? Beans, leftovers, and sushi. And it was glorious. Do you know why? I earned it. And when you work and you get to eat what might make others go like, what? You think, no. I earned that. Satisfaction. And I pray a bunch of trackers right now will come to the Lord's table, freely given to you, and that we will be satisfied, wanting to be trackers for God and not slackers, enjoying our own bread.
The implanted word.
When learning about end times prophecies, it's easy for people to focus on the sensational topics, such as the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. We want to know who the Antichrist is, what country he'll come from, and how he'll get the whole world to follow him. While wondering about and asking those questions isn't wrong, it can take our focus off the right person, Jesus. In the letter of 2 Thessalonians, the Apostle Paul teaches that when Jesus returns, he will kill the Antichrist with the breath of his mouth. Jesus won't even have to lift a finger to destroy the Antichrist, the devil, and all the forces of evil. So focus on serving and knowing more about Jesus Christ, the true King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You've been listening to The Implanted Word with Pastor Bill Gem. Pastor Bill is making his way through the book of 2 Thessalonians in a series titled Kingdom Worthy, and we hope you'll continue to join us. The Implanted Word is a ministry out of Grace Church in Amarillo, Texas. You'll find us on the corner of Western and Plains. Come visit us. We have services on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11, as well as Wednesday nights at 7. And if you can't come in person, you can still find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube. Head over to theimplantedword.com and click on Grace Church to learn more. You can also find our mobile app there, where you'll have Pastor Bill's sermons available whenever you want to listen to them. Well, we're out of time for today, but we hope you'll join us again next time, right here on The Implanted Word.